Just slush through my booty.
No, I don't know.
Oh, good morning. Good morning. Waterkloof.
So this is every single shot from round 2 Bushveld Tour at Waterkloof or Waterkloof. And as I said in yesterday's video, we're going to be doing, showing each hole with these aerial views, and it's courtesy of UpGame, which is the stats app that I use, which is a great app, and there's going to be more information in the description about UpGame if you're interested in using that. But it's the one that Steve Surrey put me on, and yeah, it's really good. You can go really into detail with your stats. So we started on hole 10 in round 2. I was starting level par after shooting, after having a disappointing last 2 holes yesterday, finishing bogey double to go to level par. Started off on 10 and just hit drive out right, playing safe, and just got really, well, not fortunate, but hold a nice long putt for birdie, so that was a nice start. So downhill par 4, just hit 4 iron off the tee here. And as we're going as well, some of the angles that we're going to be getting in the next video are going to be slightly different, so we can see sort of like, especially on approaches, so you can see the ball, probably filming from behind, so you can see the ball taking off and landing on the greens. But we're trying to improve this step by step, and I think it's getting better as we go. So this is a downhill birdie putt on 11, which are just left in the jaws. Moving on to hole 12, which is 368 meters. The bunkers are sort of, I can thread driver between the bunkers, but the pin was right on the front, so I wanted to leave myself a full wedge in just to get at the flag. So I hit 5 iron off the tee. Actually made a really nice swing here. Left myself 118, and this is what I thought was a perfect sand wedge. Wind was coming slightly in off the right, thought it was more across than into. And this one just landed on the front of the green, or just on the fringe, and ripped back down the hill. Had to take a drop because I was in the sprinkler, and just left myself in a dead position, which was really annoying actually, because hit 2 really good shots, just missed club by, I don't know, like 3-4 yards. Probably should have just taken a bit more club, but in the end had this tricky little left to right downhiller for a bogey, which I hold to keep the sort of momentum going. 414 meters. Slightly uphill into wind off the right. Yeah, this is decent swing, just hitting that 10-yard fade. Hit decent drive here. This was just under 100 meters back to this flag, and after, well, it's 110 meters, sorry. So after the last, I thought that has to be a perfect sand wedge. And this one landed just on the top of the tee, ripped back to the front of the green, left myself like 40 foot up the hill. So quite frustrating really, 2 wedges. Well, you want to give yourself, you know, looks for birdie really, but having to scramble to make par from those situations is not ideal. Moving on to this par 5, which is down the hill, wind off the left. And yeah, you can't really miss left here. So my misses in the past have been quick lefts, but I've managed to, like, through, you know, changing the grip and a few other things, managed to sort of get that left miss out of my game. Obviously not completely, but for the most part. So I was managing sort of like a right miss, and on this hole, no stress missing right. So after driver, gap wedge, had a fairly easy 2-putt for birdie, so got to 1 under. This is a downhill par 3, really good hole. And this is, yeah, 175, playing nearer the number because the wind was in out the right. And this is a really sweet 8 iron, which just was all over it the whole way. To 6 foot, inside right edge putt, nice and simple to get to 2 under early, which is good. Moving on to this par 4 where I made a bit of a mess up yesterday, hitting it in the greenside bunker for 2, and like just having this like horrific plug lie. This drive just left out right, as you can see from the reaction, but was not hindered here, so 100 again, and yeah, I was pretty mad here. Same bunker, just again with the wedge. It's just losing quite a few shots with wedges. But the next day after this, I actually went and saw Nicole at Serengeti, and we've sort of tried to move things forward with my wedge game. But yeah, tricky bunker shot, knocked it out, and then I had this quite tough downhill right to left there, so I just knocked this up close. Got the bogey, back to 1 under. This is 132 meters downhill into quite a breeze with water short, so it's sort of in between. In fact, it's not really in between anything. I just hit a gap wedge, which I thought would be a bit closer to pin high, but actually ripped it. Had a fairly long putt for birdie. And yeah, safely in for par. Now moving on to the par 5, where I made like a really random, like aggressive swing yesterday, just trying to get this up as close as possible. Wind was in the same direction. I was trying to miss this right, if anything, as you can see from the reaction. Bit of El Savvy going on. And yeah, left myself in a funky position, just like right on top of the bunker. 175 meters uphill. 8 iron, just left it out right a bit. But anyway, it's a pretty poor bunker shot, to be fair. And this part is really annoying on camera because it doesn't really do it justice, the slopes on some of these greens. This is a 3% slope, so it's like 1.5 foot outside the left edge. And just sort of, you know, pussied out on it a bit. Just not giving it a good roll, because I knew if I sort of lipped out on the high side, it would have gone a long way past. Anyway, moving on to the front 9. So going in 1 under. Hit an alright drive off the first. This like landed on top of the bunker and just had a massive mud ball. So I was just trying to get it on the green from a fairly awkward position. But gave myself a look for birdie, which got away quite a bit. Knocked it in for par. Now you're going to see some more funky driver actions here. So down the left side of this hole, as you can see on the flyby or the aerial view, that's where I'm trying to hit it down the left. So it's like a big dog leg left, but I just sort of just took my chances and just hit it over all the trees, because I've only got like, I think I had 170 in it, I had 150 in yesterday, and then it's just a case of getting it near greenside. My playing partner actually holed out for a 2. This is again a really bad bunker shot. I mean, there's again something that we worked on the next day as well at Serengeti. But yeah, my playing partner, I think it must have been around 220. And yeah, hold out for 2, which is pretty sick. Just clearing up for par. This is quite a tough hole because it's very tight. 420 meters into off the left, and I was just aiming at this tree on the left, just trying to slide a fade, just keeping it well away from the out of bounds on the right hand side. And I actually just slid this, like second day in a row, just slid this a bit too much, with looking for like a 15-yard slide, not a 30. Left myself again under the same tree, and the goal was to just not hit it here, because it's just such a dead situation down there. I was trying to hit it back left, but in the end, actually hit a pretty decent putt. Oh, is the old mongoose. I'm not going to break out the David Attenborough. Have a look at that. Get in there. Go on, my booty. What do you think he's looking for? Worms. It's got to be worms, isn't it? Anyway, putt for par. This was a 3% slope as well. That broke like 2 cups from the right. And now this is like a drivable par 4, 351 that, you know, is out of bounds all up the right. Knowing my miss was, you know, a bit of a block, a bit of an overcut. I just didn't really fancy going for it with driver. So I just laid back with 4 iron. Didn't make a very good swing. Left myself just on the edge of the tree line on the right, 120 meters. So fairly comfortable sand wedge onto the left-hand side of the green. Just trying to lag that up there. So no stress there. And this is a tough hole. So this is into off the right, 398 meters, water, short and left of the green. Tight target for the second shot. Like 2 on off the tee, and this is just like, an okay golf shot goes down the middle, but just not struck very well. Left myself 160 into off the right, and I thought I'm either going to hit a hard 9, which is what I hit, or try and like guide in an 8. I thought I'd go with a more, all-out confident swing with 9-iron, and just try and get it on the green and 2-putt, because the pin's up there on like a really tough tier. Again, you can't see from this, that slopes so much off the right here, and I was just trying to get it, pin high with the first putt, just to give myself a fairly easy par putt, which it did. This is pretty much just straight up the hill, which is nice. And then a very tough par 3. This green is crazy. Like, the greens this week were only running at like, I don't know, around 9, so they weren't very quick. The greens can get up to like 13 here, which would be absolutely insane with this green. I was playing this as a 5% slope, averaging out the whole way. And again, you can't really see that from here. I was actually aiming like 10 foot, 12 foot right of that. And this was a 3%er aiming 2 cups right, and just did everything apart from actually hit it. Just forgot about, that aspect of putting. Got to get it to the hole. Par 5, hole 7, little slide around to the right. This is where I made eagle yesterday. You just got to hit it at that big tree in the background with the and basically slide it off of that, and I just hit like a bit of a toey straight one. I had 185, had to hit like a high hook over a tree for a gap, and it went like 200 meters, so left myself a huge putt down the green from like 70-80 foot. But yeah, left myself the makeable putt on the green. This was pretty much dead straight. Maybe a slight move from the right. So back to 1 under, and yeah, this, I couldn't believe this. So this is 146 playing 5 down, so 140 with a downwind. So I'm thinking, right, this is 135, hitting gap wedge, and this thing has literally gone 160 meters in the air. I couldn't believe it, and I thought, all right, let's try not to have a finish like yesterday. Yesterday finished bogey double, so I was slightly conscious of that, and having not hit a good bunk shot all day. But thankfully, hit a nice little bunker shot out there. Putt for par, and then we've got the toughest hole in the course, in my opinion, just because of the way the green is, which you're going to see in a second. But yeah, uphill, straight into the wind. Here, pretty nice drive here. 165 meters. Didn't want to go long, so I hit wedge. The ball was going so far, just because it was 35 degrees. So I hit wedge, which was probably half a club short, but that was absolutely fine. Just pulled it a bit and left myself another, I think this is 5 or 6% off the left. This is literally about 50-60 foot, but you can't really see it from here. Here's a bit more of an idea of the slope on this. Again, it doesn't look like anything on camera. And playing partner played really well. That was very solid up and down for par for him there. I left myself this. This was to get in the money. Snuck in. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Things moving in the right direction. Just in the money. Finished tied 19th. Got another event tomorrow actually at Irene, which we're going to be filming again, more like this. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know what you think of this content. Here's some of the stats from Upgame. Again, more information about Upgame in the description. This was one take. I'm pretty happy with myself. See you on the next one.